can always turn out to be just weird, you know? You know, what I'm talking about, well, let's just put it this way. There's always going to be some kind of conflict. Always be some kind of conflict. You know, I can never understand why there's that conflict. But anyway, let's take a look at this weekend. This past weekend, of course, was Mother's Day weekend. And my family and relatives have kind of developed this new philosophy, this new concept, if you will. See, the new concept in philosophy is if a holiday falls on a Sunday, then try to have that holiday or that celebration on the Saturday before the official day. In other words, before that Sunday. In other words, when it comes to holidays like Easter, Mother's Day, possibly Father's Day, you know, and maybe, well, I'm not saying it should be, but perhaps the day before Easter or the day after Easter, have Thanksgiving. Christmas might be the exception, but you kind of get the idea. Kind of have those holidays on days to where basically everybody can be there, and then on the day, on the following day, which would be the holiday, let them be with the other in-laws and stuff. You know, and you know, that's exactly what we did this past weekend. You see, I had a feeling my family, my relatives and family were going to do something for my grandma. And I heard the last time that they were planning to maybe do something the day before Mother's Day, which did happen. And my mom pretty much knew this too, but she didn't really expect much until, well, she did expect much, but she really didn't really know if it was going to happen or what was going to, or not, but it did. And it works out for everybody because everybody can be there. Now, I understand a bit of the whole, oh, you know, got to be all together for certain big holiday events, but again, that all depends exactly on what occurs. You see, Christmas, believe it or not, is going to be very, very interesting this year. Christmas and Thanksgiving, because depending on when they fall, and I'm looking up here, depending on when they fall, it's going to be quite interesting. Like, okay, according to this, Thanksgiving this year will be on the 28th. So if we wanted to do something to where everybody would be there, it would be the obvious choice would be the 29th. Then Christmas falls on the 25th. Now if we wanted to do something to make sure everybody was there, we'd either do something on the 24th or the 26th, if we were to follow that concept. Kind of get the idea. And you know, it's not the first time I've dealt with this. No. You see, when I was in Kansas, we did the same thing a few times. And it wasn't just because of the fact of, you know, my aunt and my uncle had to go my aunt had to go with her husband to her in-laws. No. It was the fact that sometimes work got in the way. And because money was an important issue at the time, they had to work, or one of them had to work. But anyway, long story short, basically for the past two holidays, Mother's and Easter's, we've been gathering together the day before, but the only reason for that is because those fall on Sundays. Those holidays have been falling on Sundays, not in the middle of the week, like the holidays upcoming will be. Father's Day will be on Sunday too, but it's an entirely different story. All the other holidays afterwards, mostly during the week. And that's going to be the tricky part, because everybody's going to be off on those days. But the question is, will they want to do it the day after or the day before? See, that's totally up in the air. If I know my family, and I think I know them very well, if we have to do some kind of Christmas thing, it'll probably be on the 26th, if we were to keep this schedule, but traditionally it's always the 25th, so hopefully the only exceptions will be the holidays at the beginning of the year, and that's about it. Just have to wait and see. But it was very interesting, I'll tell you, it's a very fulfilling weekend, Mother's Day weekend, very fulfilling, very out and about, if you will. You see, you haven't seen any vids of me for the past few days because of that reason. You see, on Saturday, we were to be at my aunt's. We were supposed to be at my aunt's at 9:30. Well, at least, well, not around 9:30, but something around that time frame. And we got there a little later than usual, but hey, we made it. And the reason we had to be there early in the morning is because she had to go take my grandma's dog to get her shots. And it was also beneficial because we got to spend time with my grandma most of the day, help her out. My mom got to clean up. This is what my mom does. Her Mother's Day gift to my grandma was she cleaned the little banister over her window, swept some of the leaves, and just sat there and talked, sat there out there on the porch and talked. And it was kind of unique, kind of cool. Another unique perspective about this as well is my oldest sister. Was able to we called her up, and she was able to give her, or text her, actually we were able to text her, and she was able to give my grandma the 6-month a special package for her cable. Because you see, my grandma basically only really has very basic cable. I mean, very basic, very, very limited. But now she's back to what she had before. And the reason for this is because our families always gather together for the holidays. So knowing this, and knowing the fact that my two cousins out there go out and take care of her, you know, probably want to watch something when they're taking breaks or they're all resting a little bit, there you go. So, very, very interesting weekend, if you will. Very fulfilling weekend, but yeah, we went there, spent most of it. Here was the original plan. We were supposed to, according to my Uncle David, we were supposed to get there early and then leave early. But it was more like we got there early, but we left at our usual time, which was late at night. But that's okay, it's fine, it's Mother's Day weekend. You know, it's okay, it's fine. But another reason for this as well was one of my uncles and aunts came a little later. They live in the same vicinity as my uncle and my aunt we rode with, in the same city I should say, but they came a little later. Don't know why. But they did. So anyway, we go to this place. I mean, not to the place, but anyway, we go to my grandma's. Like I said, we spend most of the day there. We finally get to watch the Giants game, and we see them slaughter Atlanta and win. So that was good. But yeah, we had a good time. We had pizza, we had cake, And the reason we had cake, of course, you gotta have cake for Mother's Day, but we also had cake to celebrate cousin, my cousin Gabrielle's birthday and my cousin Lacey's birthday, because they both fall in May. Basically, my cousin Gabriella, or Gabby, as we call her, she's basically, well, I'm going to be 34 this year. I'm 8 years older than her. Well, 7 years, 2 months older than her. Or something like that. Well, 7 months, 10 months older than her. Or whatever. Yeah, 10 months older. 7 months, I'm sorry, I'm still waking up still. 7 years, 10 months older than her. Yeah, 7 years, 10 months older than her. So just about 8 years older. And my cousin Lacey is 18, so just like my nephew is going to be. So spread out in between, and there you go. Anyway, we spent most of the day there with family and stuff. So it was cool. We prayed for my grandma and her dog, and because she, dog been sensing things and stuff, and just prayed for God to take care of her and watch over her. And then we came home late. Then we went home. Then we came home late. And then we went back to Tracy after that. Then we went home. And then yesterday we went to church. And then after that we left church. We left a little earlier than usual. We left a little earlier than usual because we had to meet my oldest sister at her house. The reason being is because we were going to this cherry blueberry picking farm, if you will. Yeah, I'm not joking. You want truth? There's truth. We went to a berry picking farm. I'm not joking here, folks. I'm not joking. You want the truth? I'll show you. But we went to this cherry berry picking farm where they allowed you to, because my sister had seen it on the news. And she thought, oh, we can do that for Mother's Day. So we went to this cherry picking blueberry farm, and that right there is the result, if you will. The blueberries and the cherries. So yeah, there was the result. We went to this blueberry cherry picking farm, all of us, and I mean all of us, including my 17 to now almost 18-year-old nephew. We went there, and we had a good time. We really did. It was fun. It was hot, I'll say that. So yeah, we did that, and then we came back to my second older sister's place because she was with us. She and her family were with us. And we basically sat back, relaxed a little bit, waited for the barbecue and food to get ready. And so we ate that, and then my brother-in-law plays softball now for his job, and they're basically hour-long games. Or depending on how long, basically on average, they're hour-long games, all right? So, or depending on how long it goes, hour-long, 20, 10-point lead, ending difference, whatever. So, yeah, we basically stayed there. So basically what happened is, as a Mother's Day gift, to my sisters, her daughters, my mom, myself, with my brother-in-law, and we took my 9-year-old nephew and my soon-to-be, what is he going to be, 6 now? Yeah, 6-year-old, soon-to-be 6-year-old nephew. We took them with us to Manteca, to a sporting complex called Big League Dreams. Big League Dreams. And we actually enjoyed it there. We actually had fun there. We sat back and watched it. I mean, my brother-in-law's team didn't do so well, and of course the team they were playing against wasn't too respectful or anything. So what do you expect? But they didn't do so well, but they're going to get them next time they meet them. They're going to beat them next time they meet them. So yeah, we did that, and then we came back, had some cake, if you will. And of course, there was exchange of Mother's Day gifts between my mom, my sisters, and my niece. So yeah, it was a good time. And of course, like I said at the beginning, there was some conflict and all that. Basically, the conflict was, basically it was the conflict was kind of off and on, if you will. You see, like I said earlier, me and my mom left church early, around 11:30. Well, we were supposed to leave at 11:30. Here was the problem. We were supposed to leave at 11:30, but my mom, I know her so well. This is why I was trying to text my sister with this on the email and all that, and trying to tell her, look, can you give us 10 to 15? And of course, it didn't really help that, my brother, that, it was just, things weren't, basically things that's supposed to represent Mother's Day yesterday did not turn out the way they should have for her at the start. Basically, what it was is, instead of my brother-in-law being the one that does a majority of what he has to do, and my nephew listening to her and helping out, it was just kind of, it didn't start out right for her, let's just put it that way. And it didn't really help that me and my mom were a little later than usual. You see, I was trying to tell my mom, I was looking at the time here, on the time on here, I was looking on here on the time, I was kind of telling her, it's about time, we need to get ready to go. And as soon as it hit 11:30, I said, we need to go. And she says, wait, hold on a second, wait. And it wasn't until about 10 minutes, almost 12 minutes later that we got out of there. And I can understand completely where she's coming from. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do. You see, she didn't want to walk out on the sermon. See, my pastor, when he gets into a sermon, and our church's pastor, when he gets into a sermon, and he's reading from the Bible, well, this is not the Bible he uses, but you kind of get the idea. When he's reading from this, okay, one of the things about our church, just like with any church, is you're bound to get a bulletin, am I right? You get a bulletin as well as with some notes for that day's sermon. Basically, like what book of the Bible you're going to be in and what chapters and verses you're going to be reading from. Well, we usually get that. We usually get 1 or 2 notes of what area of the Bible and chapter and verses we're going to be in, or 3 or 4. We only had 2. So we get into this. So he gets into that. He starts reading exactly from those areas, but he also adds in several things. Because what he does is he takes notes, like, okay, what chapters should I go to in between the main points, the main chapters, the main books? Like, what other books should I go to for information or to talk about in the sermon? So, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for a pastor to do, because it gives his sermon, it basically gives his sermon more meaning. It basically helps him to get the message out more. Anyway, he gets so, the thing about our pastor, I know he's not the only one, but he gets so into it that not only does he use the main books that he's using from the Bible in chapters and verses, but he also uses the other ones that he takes notes from and says, okay, let's go to this one, or let's go to that one. Okay, it's like, okay, now, in fact, let's go to here, go to here, and you kind of get the idea. Well, anyway, he gets so into it, and he intertwines, basically, well, not intertwines, but he gets, I don't know how to put it, but basically, he gets so into it that he'll take something going on today in today's world and say, you read from this, and basically he'll ask a question like, how are we doing on that today? Right? Like, one of the main topics yesterday was about marriage, and how it's supposed to be between a man and a woman, and basically be the death to us part deal, and basically be a connection of a marriage, based around God and all that, totally committed. But that nowadays with the whole, let's have same-sex marriage deal, basically his question was, how well are we keeping up on God's standards when it comes to marriage between a man and a woman? How well are we doing? That's basically about it. And then he talks about, things like, single mothers, and being, it's just, I can't really think about it. You'll hear the sermon, a majority of it, when I post it up. But again, he really gets into his sermons. And again, like I said, I'm sure he's not the only one that does that. But the point is, he gets so into it, my mom gets interested in it. My mom's very religious, and that's a great thing. That is a great thing, there's no doubt about it. But the thing is, she doesn't, the thing is, I'm trying to make this understanding as I can. Basically, what happened is, we were supposed to be at my sister's by 11:30. Straightforward. Straight up. 11:30, no later. And my mom was wondering, why do we have to be there? It's not going to go anywhere. That farm's not going to go anywhere, blah, blah, blah. But my sister wanted to get there because I think she wanted to get as much done at that farm than she could anywhere else. And we probably go back there for Memorial Day weekend. But the point is, she wanted to get as much done as she could. Anyway, we were supposed to be there at 11:30. I said, please give us 10 to 15 minutes. She said, no, we got to leave now. We have to leave. And there's always a saying that God has a reason for everything. Well, we got there 15 minutes later than usual, almost about that. And they're not even ready yet. Or they're ready, but they haven't gotten everything mostly out into the van. So, and again, that doesn't help my sister because it's supposed to be Mother's Day, and her husband's supposed to be like, hey, it's your day, let me take care of this. Her son's supposed to be like, it's your day, Mom, I'll do this. But like I said, it didn't start out too well. But anyway, God has a reason for everything. Everything was okay. We got everything done. We met up at my second older sister's house, followed them, or they followed us, and we followed them to the farm. Did some cherry, blueberry picking. Not too bad. They're really very fresh. These berries and cherries are very fresh, better than what you get in the store. So anyway, we did that, and afterwards we came back, like I said, had dinner. My niece showed up, even though she worked yesterday, which we thought was crazy. Why would she work on Mother's Day? She's a mother. But she got paid for it, kind of double the time or something like that. And so she came back. She came down and she rode back up with us. And so it was very interesting. Like I say, me and my mom and my 9-year-old and 6-year-old nephews went to go, or 5-year-old nephew went to go watch my brother-in-law play softball in Manteca at Big League Dreams. And then after that, we came back, relaxed a little bit more. But even before that, there was a huge, huge conflict again. And the conflict, believe it or not, had to deal with what the kids were watching. You see my, let's just put it this way. I was trying, here's the thing. You have 3 kids, all right? You have 3 kids. You have a 3-year-old who's going to be 4 in June, at the end of June. You've got I think he's going to be 4. Yeah, 4. You got a 6-year-old, 5-year-old going to be 6. And here you have him running around, sitting down at times trying to watch the show. Oh, but then getting back up, running around, going cuckoo. So, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. All 3 of them like turtles. There's no doubt about it. All 3 of them love the Ninja Turtles. Maybe my 3-year-old, 4-year-old great nephew and my 9-year-old nephew more than my 5-year-old one. But the point is, they love Ninja Turtles. And the thing is, they're running around, and the only one watching the Ninja Turtles, the new one, the new show on demand, is my 9-year-old nephew. So here he is, basically. He's like sitting right here. The TV's right here, and the kids are just running around. And I'm thinking, and my mom's asking me, Brian, put something on that they're all going to watch and enjoy, kind of keep them busy. My older sister doesn't notice this, and let's just say perception wasn't, fully seen, basically. If you know what I mean. Or whatever that old saying of perception. Basically, she only saw half of what we saw. Basically, it's kind of like in the eye of the beholder. She only saw half of what we beheld. And basically what happened was, I was trying to put on the 1991 sequel to the original live-action movie because my great-nephew loves watching that. I mean, when he comes here at times, when he and my niece visit, they come here, and my great-nephew will ask me to play my action figures, because I collect the 2003 figures. He'll go in there, I'll put on TMNT2, and he'll watch it. No problem. But, unfortunately, that, again, perception is only like 1/10, whatever you want to call it. And basically my sister didn't see the full picture, and it just caused a huge conflict, and, I was to blame for it. So, I apologized later on, and I think basically, as my mom called it, it was a little bit of the